Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about what is a diabetic diet or a diet for diabetics. Uh, so this first chart that I've um, shown here, and I'll link it in the comments below, is a glycemic index chart. And across the top you can see it has low, moderate, and high glycemic index foods. Um, how the glycemic index basically is affecting your blood sugar as you eat them. So obviously with the high glycemic index foods, that's going to affect your blood sugar and spike it up a lot more than your low glycemic index foods. So I always tell patients try and shy away from the high glycemic index foods and shoot for the low glycemic index foods. So you can see the first thing they list here is breakfast cereals. One that I've always enjoyed myself has been the Cracklin Oat Bran cereal. But it lists some other ones there, as you can see. And then obviously this chart then goes down into fruits, which are best to consume and which are ones that are best to stay away from. And then it works down even into vegetables and grains. And then at the bottom it lists your dairies and also your restaurant and ethnic foods that you should probably stay away from on the high glycemic index side. So another thing that I like to show patients is the healthy eating plate method, and this is a good picture of that. The first thing I like to show patients is the size of the plate is 9 inches. So it's great that we eat healthy things, but we also have to be watching our portion control as well. So the top half of this plate obviously is your non-starchy vegetables. So those kind of coincide a lot with your low glycemic index vegetables that I talked about previously. So go ahead and reference that chart for examples on these items. And then you'll see on the lower left-hand side is your starchy vegetables, your breads and your grains. So like your potatoes, sweet potatoes, in general are pretty good as far as this section goes. Breads, I always tell patients to stay away from wheat if they can. Shoot for whole grain or wheat. But obviously staying away from the white, because the white pushes people up without really filling them up with anything else. And another nice thing about those breads is they actually do have quite a bit of other nutrients in them, as opposed to the white bread that does not. So then the other quarter portion on the bottom right hand side of the plate is your proteins. These are like beans, your poultry, which is your chicken. Best to do skinless chicken, because the skin has a lot of fat, and again that skin is going to with the fat is going to push your blood sugar up without doing anything else. Meats, so like your beefs, I always tell patients when they're shopping specifically for ground beef to try and get the extra lean as opposed to the lean, because it's cutting out that fat. Again, the fat is going to push your blood sugar up without doing anything else. And then the last one listed on there is fish. Obviously, it's best to stay away from any kind of breaded fish or fried fish. This is specifically referring to the salmon and tuna. Those are your two really healthy fishes. But just in general, trying to stay away from anything fried is best there, because that will push your blood sugar up. Then you can see on the top left-hand corner is a bowl of fruit. I always tell patients that fresh is best, but if they have to, do canned to stay away from the syrupy stuff, because then again you have added sugar and it's just going to push your blood sugar up. Examples of fresh fruits is obviously apples are really good. Trying to stay away from the ones that are the size of a pumpkin. And, you know, doing a normal size, average size apple, I always show patients my fist and say, you know, shoot for something like this. I know that sometimes at the grocery store they can get pretty big. You can obviously buy the bigger ones and just cut them in half. That obviously works. Bananas are great. Obviously those can kind of get pretty big sometimes as well. So a normal average size banana works there as well. And then in the top right hand side you can see dairy. I always try and tell patients to work to the least amount of fat content as they can. So skim milk is obviously best. And if they're doing any kind of cottage cheese or cheese in general, trying to do the least amount of fat that they can find on that as well. Another example I give patients is Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt's pretty good. You have to watch, however, the sugar in certain brands. Some of them like to pile in added sugar. So watching those labels and making sure that you're being healthy with that as well. Trying to stay away from just the regular yogurts. Those generally have quite a bit of sugar added into them, and they don't have really any protein either, which is kind of nice with the Greek yogurt, is that it does have protein in it as well. So go ahead and stay tuned, guys. I'll be coming out with some more videos soon. Thank you. Bye.